Hill's Farm. Today we are in the kitchen and we are making a buttermilk pie. If you've never had buttermilk pie, it is similar to a custard pie. It's an old southern favorite. Years ago I was reading it in a antique, it's like from 1890, 1899 cookbook, and it was mentioning that a lot of times buttermilk pie was referred to as Texas buttermilk pie. The reason being, they said that a lot of people that visited Texas for whatever reason and then returned to their normal state, they called it Texas buttermilk pie. They were served buttermilk pie a lot because apparently, because of the cattle industry, women in Texas, farm women and housewives, had access to a lot of inexpensive fresh milk, whether they lived in the town and it was delivered or they had their own cows. So buttermilk pie was a standard sort of dessert that was served. Now, if you don't have buttermilk, you can buy buttermilk in store. If you don't have buttermilk, you can make your own buttermilk with 1 cup of milk. Whole milk works best, but 2% will also work. 1 cup milk and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Just add it right there. It can be fresh from the lemon or it can be bottled lemon juice. Then mix it up and let it sit. I'm using Hoosier Hill Farm's premium dehydrated powdered buttermilk. And I keep a thing of this on my pantry shelf just for this kind of purpose. I could always make it with the lemon juice, and sometimes I do if that's just what I grab first. But I've already pre-made my cup, and if you're using the Hoosier Hill powdered buttermilk, it is 1 cup of milk for 3 tablespoons of powder. So I went ahead and mixed that up, and I just put it in the refrigerator because I find that with the heavy cream, the butter, the milk, the eggs, anything that you're mixing from a powdered, I just find it does a little better if you just let it go set in the refrigerator for a little while you're getting everything ready. You'll also need to preset your oven to 350, and you need 1 unbaked 9-inch pie crust, and I've already went and put mine in the pan and fluted the edges so it is ready to go. While you're doing things in advance, take out 3 large eggs and put them on the counter and let them set so they get to room temperature. So you're going to need a 1/2 cup or 1 stick of butter. And you're going to need that either softened or melted. Mine is sort of, I just stuck it in the microwave for like 20 seconds, so it's half and half right now. So the first things I'm going to do, well, all that other stuff, I did all that other stuff, is going to get my eggs and I'm going to put them in my mixer. Okay, we want to beat these eggs till they're frothy. Now I want to add 1½ cups of sugar. Granulated white sugar. And to that mixture I'm going to add my butter. And I want the 1/2 cup of butter, or 1 stick. Start getting creamy on it. Next I want to measure out 3 tablespoons of white flour. Creamy, and it's going to look really smooth and creamy. I want to add my buttermilk. Now my buttermilk is going to be a little darker than if I'm using fresh buttermilk because I'm using the powdered dehydrated buttermilk. Okay. I want to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. I want 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and I want to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Okay, we're going to pour this into our pie shell. We're going to bake it in the preheated 350-degree oven for 40 to 60 minutes or until the center is firm. And how you can test for that is use a piece of uncooked pasta or a toothpick and insert it into the center, and when it comes out clean and nothing sticks to it and it looks firm, that's when it will be done. So let's pop it in the oven. Oh, and one tip, I had used one of these silicone, I used to use foil around the edges. I had a big long piece that I reused all the time that was especially folded and everything that I had for you. So you can put foil around your edges, or you can just put one of these. It just drops down on your pie and it protects your edges. So I'm going to use that to help protect the edges and makes it a little easier to carry. If I put it on a cookie sheet, I keep this old small one just for this purpose. It just makes it a lot easier. So let's pop that in the oven and we'll be back to look at it in 40 to 60 minutes. While that's cooking, I'm going to show you something really simple that is a good first lesson for kids. I was probably about 6. One of the rewards for helping in the kitchen, help my mother cook and fetching this and fetching that for her while she cooked, was to get to make these treats with the leftover pie crust. When you trim your edges, you'll have a little bit of pie crust. If you're making pie crust, you can always make a little bit more if you want to make a little bit more of these treats. First thing you're going to do is you're going to teach your kid how to use the rolling pin, and you're going to roll that out just into a circle. However big you have, you might not have the same every time. Then you're going to want a little bit of butter, and I should have let mine get softer. But you're just going to cover the dough with the butter. And again, kid can do this. Actually, a kid as young as 4 can do this. And if you're real adventurous, you might even turn a 3-year-old loose with a plastic fork maybe, or a plastic spatula. So just cover your dough with butter. Then you just want cinnamon and sugar. We keep a thing of it mixed all the time. And this does require a little bit of supervision because kids like to go a little crazy. Just cover the whole thing with cinnamon and sugar. Now you're just going to want to cut it into little rolls. And then just roll those up. Like 5½. And you're just going to pop those into the oven, along with the pie. For about 10 minutes, just keep checking on it every once in a while, and when it looks like it's browning up, they're going to be done. And you're going to have little tiny cinnamon rolls, and it uses the leftover thing up, and it's a good first baking lesson for your kiddos to help along with you. So sometimes you can buy yourself a little bit of time and say, if you just wait till Mommy's done, we're going to do it. We're going to have a surprise, and you're going to make yourself a little treat. You're going to cook. So that promise of getting to cook will sometimes get that kid to sit there quietly drinking a cup of milk and eating a cookie or something while you're working. So let's pop that in the oven and we'll look at those later too. Alright, it's out of the oven and these weird spots are on it. I had to put some foil on it because it was getting too brown, I thought, and it came off on there. So I'll let the pie cool, and when I get it served, I will show you what the inside looks like. Remember, mine's a little bit darker because I used the dehydrated buttermilk powder. So if you used actual buttermilk or milk that you made into buttermilk with lemon juice, yours is going to be a little bit lighter brown. So there's the finished pie, and I forgot to add that you can also crush pecans and add it to the top, but I prefer it to be just plain. So you can see the top was a nice golden brown, and the inside is a nice custard-like color. And thank you for joining us today for Texas Buttermilk Pie, and I'll see you later on Canterbury Hoosier Hill Farm. Bye.